Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the units, the Gaming Saloon for July 13th, 2025, which I host Peacemaker 2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
We get to talk about Microsoft today. Yay. That is the best I can offer. It's like, yay. We get to talk about the thing from really 2 weeks ago at this point. Yeah, we have that in other stuff. There's something positive in here eventually. But first, tell me, what have you been playing the last couple weeks?
Truthfully, not a whole lot. I think about the only thing that I know of that I at least touched once was finding out that we will at least have a decent sports game in Tales from the Cube.
Hooray! Hooray for strikers!
And that will probably be like one of the only ones that I won't do through Dolphin. I think that and F-Zero right now are the only two, because Wind Waker we're not going to be doing base games, so... Yeah, outside of that, not really anything.
I'm chipping away at Platinum, yes sir, WT. I actually am at the point where I just have to mainline the game now. I've gotten the stuff out of the shop I needed to get that achievement. Technically that trophy, since it's on PS4. Right now, all I need to do is just mainline the game and not game over on a level. Because the SR points I need to get an emblem, which are just a, hey, you completed an objective in like normal difficulty, but on like hard mode and up, you just have to beat the level. If you restart the level from a game over, you don't get the point. So you have to like do it in one go.
That sounds challenging and disgusting all at the same time.
It's more annoying because it's just, hey, did you save before you started this map? Yes. Did you game over? All right, just reload the save. That's it. Have you been saving after every map? Yes. Okay, then this point doesn't matter. that whole caveat doesn't matter because you just back out of the game, reload the save, and then try again. And really the only way you can lose certain maps is because you just put a specific unit in a bad position and they got murked. That's really the only thing I have to worry about is, oops, I put this unit in the wrong position and they got murked. Oh well. Because I'm not really like being good at upgrading my units at the moment. I'm just kind of like throwing upgrades at whatever unit I feel like and just going through, because like the main character unit can like traverse half the map, and because of other stuff can like do like 5 to 6 attacks per turn, and each one of those can one-shot an enemy. Also, they have a map attack that allows them to kill, I think on average I've gotten like 3 to 4 units per map attack. So you can imagine who I'm mainly using to clear maps fast. It's like, oops, the enemies are on the other side of the map. Kill them, kill them, kill them, blow these 3 up, blows these 3 up. Oh look, half the enemies are gone. I wonder what happened. Besides that, I tried out Persona 5 the Phantom X a little bit, not too much. It is definitely a Persona game.
That's probably the best and worst thing that you could say.
I mean, there's not really much else to say. It's just like, yeah, this really feels like a Persona game and how it starts out and stuff. And while that's fine, it also, I'm just like, a lot of this echoes Persona 5, which is to be expected. It is a Persona 5 spinoff. Like, some of it feels like it's setting up questions, and I'm like, do I want to put the time in to get the answers to these questions? Especially when I know that the game has been out in China for about a year or two now. And if they don't have the answers over there, I'm not getting the answers over here anytime soon. And apparently they're expediting content to get global caught up to where China is. But in doing so, they're kind of minimizing, or that they're not minimizing, they're giving folks less rewards and less stuff. And also rushing people through banners, which is, you know, never good. So I'm like, maybe I just don't play this. I have 2 gacha games that I play, and that is enough for me.
For now, at least.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd rather be playing like a new Persona with a new setting and stuff, rather than a Persona 5 spinoff that is like teasing the idea that it is in a Persona 5 adjacent universe where the Persona 5 characters maybe exist but not in other stuff. And I'm just like, I don't care. If you're gonna mystery box me this hard on your concept, I'm just gonna not care. Because there's not really anything else here. Like, the first character you recruit, you pick up as a party member, feels like this weird intersection of Ryuji and An from Persona 5. It's this weird, like, cross-section of their plot lines. Where I'm like, there's not really anything really interesting and different about you, because it's like you have basically Ryuji's backstory, but then you have An's, like, current plot line and current situation. And I'm like, is this intentional? Is there a reason for this? Did you just do this because you didn't have anything else? Because apparently the writers for the first 2, like, dungeons were not the Atlas folks, and then the Atlas writers took over after that. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to trudge through that just to have a writing change. It just seems like it's going to be more trouble than it's worth to play that game, so I don't particularly care. I did wrap up the Fate collab for Honkai Star Rail today, since I streamed like a little bit of it for pre-show the last 2 streams. I know people have been hating on it. I kind of find it fine. I think the biggest problem is that they've teased the idea of a Fate collab for about a year, and what we got out of it is a very comedic storyline, like a super comedic storyline, basically, that feels like it's doing a little bit more of like if expanding on Penacony backstory stuff than it is like anything to do with Fate. It feels like Saber, Archer, and Lancer are just here because reasons. Hell, Lancer doesn't even feel like he's really here. He feels like he was a last minute addition to this. It feels like Saber and Archer were meant to be here this whole time, and they're like, I guess like the Fate people were like, no, you gotta put Lancer in here, and they went, okay, I guess he's here now.
So it's a collab.
He's not. Yeah.
Because that's exactly what that sounds like. Is it's those characters here for a reason.
Yeah. They even like question it, and they like they're even at the point where it's like, we could say our true names and say what our backstories are, and everyone will just go, cool. We don't know what any of that is. Hell, I do love that there is a dialogue option that lets you tell Saber, hey, there is a Camelot here. It's a planet. It got destroyed, but I know two people from there who are essentially Guinevere and Lancelot, but they're not your Guinevere and Lancelot that you know, which makes me sad because in the other event that's going on at the moment, which is just a match 3 gameplay event, Gwyfin, who is Guinevere from that Camelot planet, is in that event, and I'm like, could we not just have a fun little gag of Gwyfin shows up and we're like, hi, hey look, this is Guinevere, and Saber just goes, you're not my Guinevere. My Guinevere wasn't a redhead or a streamer, a YouTuber. What the fuck is that? Like, the girl told me what that is, but I still don't understand it. But yeah, it's fine. Like, I didn't hate it, but I know some people are like about the entire thing, and I'm like, and I think my biggest disappointment in that is Saber, Archer, and Lancer do not have English VO. They have voice in every other language available in the game, but they do not have English voice acting. I don't know if that's strike related. I don't know if that was a decision elsewhere, but they don't have English voiceovers. And they did not implement, because apparently next patch they will implement a thing where you can have their Japanese voice acting mixed with the English dub, basically. So they are at least voiced in some capacity. But for this, they don't have English dialogue. And they kind of write themselves into a situation so that everyone is not voiced for like a good chunk of the storyline, which really makes me think it was a strike situation, because why would you do that otherwise?
Yeah.
But at least character-wise, like, Saber and Archer are fun to play with. And hey, they gave you Archer for free, so you only have to pull for Saber. The only downside is it's a separate banner that doesn't have your same pity from other banners. But apparently that pity will carry over to other collabs. Assuming they decide to do another collab. Because I will point out that Genshin did a collab, kind of, with Sony, because they put Aloy in the game. There's only a problem. Would you care to guess what that problem was?
What?
Aloy was the worst character in the game, and is still the worst character in the game. Like, it is not even a competition, apparently, that Aloy is garbage. You didn't even have to pull for Aloy. They just gave you Aloy for free. And people will go, no, she's trash. And I'm like, wow. And there wasn't even storyline or anything to her. It was just like, hey, did you play on PlayStation? Here's Aloy. Oh, did you connect to PC? Oh, here's Aloy for free. So yeah, I guess, like, it's nice that the pity you gather on the banner will carry over to other collabs, or like collab special banners, but I'm also like, would they ever be incentivized to do another collab, considering people are dunking on this collab? Like, would another company be interested seeing the reception to this one? Like, I saw that there's a rumor that's like, oh, they'll run Lancer on a banner because he apparently has a gameplay stuff baked into the game somewhere. Granted, I haven't seen any direct evidence of that. I'm starting to think it's just an assumption that they'll run a Lancer banner eventually, so you can get Lancer. I don't know. I honestly don't know what they could have done better, because I'm like, the fake characters don't really fit in the Honkai Star Rail universe, so you have to, like, go the long way around to rip them into this game. And even if you do, their backstories are irrelevant to everyone on this cast. Like, they do a little bit of like character comparisons with like you and Saber, Aventurine and Archer, and then like Boot Hill and not really even Boot Hill and Lancer, but at least like Archer and Aventurine, they do it a little bit. But I'm like, I don't know what you would do for this, to be perfectly honest. Like, this seems like the best they could pull off. I think it's just a case of Fate is a bad matchup for Star Rail. Because you have like a spacefaring, like multi-planet hopping game, and you're trying to throw in very grounded, Earth-based historical figures into that. It kind of doesn't work. I don't know. Don't have much else. So shall we just talk about Microsoft?
I mean, we're gonna have to, so.
All right. So a couple weeks ago, Microsoft laid off 9,000 employees. Now, bear in mind, this is Microsoft itself, not Xbox laid off 9,000 people. Although a lot of these did hit Xbox adjacent studios. Candy Crush developer King got 10% of its staff cut, which is about 200 jobs. I forget all of the places that got hit, but it was a slaughter fest across the board. And it was just terrible to see. Along with this, Perfect Dark has been canceled. Everwild has been canceled. John Romero's studio might have been closed down, but apparently that's not the case anymore. But they were working with Microsoft to develop a game, and now that they're close to finishing that game, Microsoft is trying to cancel it on them. And now John Romero's shopping it around to other publishers like, hey, do you want to like finish paying for this game and release it? Because it's almost done. But apparently all of this is in service of Microsoft's continued push for AI, presumably trying to get money back from the several billion dollars they paid for Activision Blizzard King and have not made that money back yet in any capacity. So, yeah, and I think Phil Spencer had a really asinine comment that I don't remember, and I just don't want to bother looking up about the whole situation. How do you feel about the Green X continuing to be on fire?
I mean, kind of par for the course.
I'm pretty sure this puts us at 5 digits worth of people laid off at Microsoft within the last 18 months. Think about that. 5 digits worth of people. Over 10,000 people laid off in 18 months. Under 18 months, I think, as well. That is insanity. I think it's the analogy I said on the pre-show. Microsoft has hit the iceberg, and they will sacrifice anyone, anything, in whatever it takes to keep Xbox afloat. Like, whoever we have to throw to the sea gods to appease them to not take the whole damn ship, they will do so. Whatever project, however big or small it might be, if the sea gods desire it, the sea gods will have it. I just can't help but look at all this and just be like, anyone who thinks Microsoft is doing good, how do you think they're doing good?
They still exist.
That's not a good marker.
But they're doing good. They still exist. If they weren't doing good, they wouldn't exist anymore.
But yeah, that's that is Microsoft. That is surprisingly less than that. I guess it's because I don't want to talk about more of it. Because it's like I've had to sit on this for 2 weeks because it happened like I think it was like the Monday or Tuesday after we did TGS, and I was like, "Fuck." Because I think I woke up to the news because I took a nap and I woke up to the news and it's just like, oh yeah, Microsoft laid off 9,000 people, and I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, would you like to talk about a new Resident Evil game?
And you mean Capcom isn't sinking and dying yet?
No, they actually are doing well for themselves, surprisingly.
Yep. I'm sorry, when I flipped over to this one and mobile strategy game. That is going to go one of two ways.
So we
usually
have
the worst of the two. Just putting that out there.
Resident Evil Survival Unit being developed by Joy City, which did 3-on-3 freestyle in Aniplex, and one of the anime people for some godforsaken reason. Why the fuck is Aniplex a part of this? They're the ones making this. Capcom, I guess, is just footing the bill for it. It's a tactical game featuring Resident Evil characters. Set in a parallel universe, presents an original storyline that builds upon the Resident Evil world by diverging from the original series. I.e., this lets us throw characters together that didn't meet before, especially because this looks like remake assets. At least for Leon and Claire. I assume it's just like things are different because we need an excuse for people to be alive. Also, base building mechanics and appearances from other Resident Evil favorites, like the main character of the last 2 Resident Evils. That's the guy in the top left corner, for those that didn't know. I'm pretty sure. I love how the other half of this article is just talking about Requiem. Because that has nothing to do with this mobile game. It's just like, we have so little to talk about. We're just going to talk about Requiem and recap Requiem stuff. How do you feel?
Meh.
It is certainly a game I will ignore, and it will probably be dead in 6 months.
Yeah, probably.
So, are you excited for a new Need for Speed?
I mean, I'm sure there's 3 people that are.
Well, I've got bad news. There is no new Need for Speed. So, Speed Hunters, which is apparently like a internal fan site, or a car culture site EA backed, is shutting down. And as a part of this, it has been said that Need for Speed has been shelved. They are not going to make another Need for Speed for some indeterminate amount of time. Just a reminder, these are the same people who also made Burnout. And we haven't gotten a new Burnout in a long time. And now we're not going to get a new Need for Speed probably in a long time.
You mean ever?
Yes. What happened to all of the racing games? What happened to all the fun arcade racing games?
Mobile. You know I'm not wrong either.
I know. Yeah, Codemasters is also not doing their rally games anymore. Criterion, I think, got shoved onto. Yeah, they got shoved onto Battlefield doing support work for them, so they're not doing anything. Yeah, this sucks. This just sucks. Would you like bad Nintendo news? At least we saw coming. I think.
You mean something that we talked about? I'm wanting to say almost either almost a year or at least 6 months ago.
Probably.
That apparently has caught the internet by surprise because now everyone's freaking out over this again. On this way to go, guys. This has been established.
I feel like this, for some reason, I'm like, oh, they announced this. Well, I'm not surprised. Why would they? They don't want to give us a deal anymore. Why would they let this stick around?
They announced this. I'm wanting to say it was the end of last year, so I might be wrong on that almost a year ago thing. But I know they announced that it would not be
on Switch 2
for the Switch 2 games, and that they were going to discontinue that in the future.
Yeah.
Guess what? When Nintendo says something like that, within a year, just plan for that.
They are shutting.
If they were thinking about stopping something, yeah, it's happening. It's not a thought.
Yeah, they are shutting down the voucher program specifically June 30th of next year. Vouchers will be usable past that date, but they will expire 12 months past when you originally bought it.
Just like original.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changed on that end of it.
Yeah. So like it says, if you purchase it on...
Truthfully, them not working on Switch 2 titles, unless you're using it to pick up Switch 1 games, there's not really much of a need for them anymore anyhow.
Yeah, like... Unless you're picking them up on cheap, that way you can get the upgrade for them on Switch 2. Like, there's not much use for vouchers at this point.
I have to wonder if there's actually any difference by the time it's said and done.
Oh, with the upgrades?
Yeah. Because think about it, Breath of the Wild didn't drop its price. It's the same price whether you buy the game or not, and I'm pretty sure that the upgrade doesn't change. Look and see.
I'm pretty sure it just did some under the hood stuff for Breath of the Wild, but it doesn't do anything like amazing.
I mean, in price
and I think that's the case for Tears. I was trying to remember. I could have sworn I heard on GDQ someone say something about it was either Breath of the Wild or Tears. It might have been Tears that it doesn't run as good on Switch 2. As
I'm talking
like
about spending for the upgrade pack.
Oh yeah.
Not what it does.
Okay.
It really doesn't change a whole lot.
No.
Not enough to really matter by the time it's said and done. Because say you did that for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Which I don't remember. Could you do the game voucher for Tears?
Yes.
Okay. Bad example then, because you would actually benefit off of that.
Yeah.
But literally any of the others that are coming out, like Kirby or Mario Party or any of those, I don't think you're going to come out any better.
Probably not.
Because at the end of the day, you're essentially just going to be buying the Switch 1 version. You're going to be spending that same amount.
But yeah, goodbye, voucher program. You were useful when you got to exist. Have you heard about Stop Killing Games?
No.
Okay, so Stop Killing Games was a petition in the circulating around the EU, basically to have developers go. Actually, I will quote them directly on this of what this petition is trying to do. It is trying to do these 3 bullet points. Required video games sold to remain in a working state when support ends. Require no connections to the publisher after support ends. Not interfere with any business practices while a game is still being supported. Those are the 3 things the Stop Killing Games initiative is trying to do. Basically, it wants developers to create an end of service and a presumed end date for their live service games so that when people buy into these games, they know how long the game will exist, basically, in its original state. But
why not just most of the live service games, the reason for it is because of server support. Why not, instead of trying to do stuff like that, why not just try to get it enforced to where if you're gonna have a live service game, you have to have a dedicated server option?
I would guess that's a part of the
because that would solve all of that problem. Because I'm sitting here thinking about it, we've actually kind of touched something similar enough to this. Star Citizen. Without the servers, that game's pretty much useless. If there was a dedicated server backend for it that people could spin up on their own, then the game would still have a function.
Yeah.
Most live service games would be able to follow that same format, at least, because the stuff that requires microtransactions, you could just replace that or create them all as free. And that would still allow access to the game.
Yeah. And this petition is a starting point to try to get the conversation going in EU legislation, to then get legislation possibly undergoing and then made law. But that is all this petition is doing. It's gotten over 1 million signatures. So that's something. I think that means more over there than it does over here, if I'm being honest.
Not really, because I mean, at the end of the day, it's still coming down to legislation, which is, you know, a bunch of old people that don't know anything about technology.
Yep. But yeah, there's a whole drama and thing involving this of one specific YouTuber, surprising enough that I follow, that decided to be an ass about this and misconstrue what this was and this, that, and the other. And it's weird for that because I'm like, all this would affect is anyone creating a live service game or a multiplayer only game or a game with multiplayer components. So like, if you're making a single player game, none of this shit matters. Like, if you're making your indie tactics RPG, you would not be touched by any of this. So
debatable.
if it has no online component, how would this affect them?
DLC of any
Okay.
variety would
Well,
wind
that
up getting
feels-
wrapped into it.
Yeah. But that feels like that lands on the shoulders of the storefront. And
Nope. If they're pushing it for live service, that would fall on the developers too. Then
okay.
you're kind of you're deflecting blame on that end of it then, because a live service game, the developers aren't the ones that have the servers. If they're hosting, say, on Amazon, and Amazon comes in one day and says, I'm shutting down all the servers, then they're just screwed.
True.
It's one of those I can kind of understand, but at the same time, as far as, games preservation concepts, maybe there does need to be some kind of, no, you don't do that. You give a way for people to play it 20 years down the road when no one's supporting it in any means. Because case in point, right now, Wii U and 3DS stuff, find a legitimate way of getting it. There's a ton of DLC that can never be obtained. Yeah, you can obtain the physical games, but you can't any of that. And this would kind of fall into that concept too.
I think the one idea I heard was if you decide to delist your game, it goes into the public domain and it becomes like publicly available through like some government setup service, basically.
I could see that, but then the only issue with that is you run into the weird copyright and trademark stuff.
Right.
Because then, okay, we'll use like Mario as an example, kind of deal. Say Odyssey would fall into that category and have to be put into the public domain. Do you public domain only Odyssey or everything pertaining to it? Because that is two vastly different things then. And that's where the wording would have to come into play.
I would presume if it's like how things go in the public domain now, it would be very specifically that specific thing and only that specific thing, because that is how the public domain works now. Because like, what one publicly? Steamboat Willie's in the public domain right now. So technically, Mickey is in the public domain, but only the Mickey as represented in Steamboat Willie. Any other version of Mickey is not in the public domain, and therefore Disney can and will throw your ass in a dumpster if you decide to try to use it.
But that's because that is worded that way.
Yes.
Games are completely different media in terms of that concept.
Yeah.
So that gets back to it depends on how it's worded. Because if it's worded in a bad way trying to incorporate all the DLCs, then it can actually inadvertently incorporate anything pertaining to that entire series. And that's where the problem can come in. The idea is good, and probably the best that could come out of something like that.
Yeah, like I said, this is a starting point for a conversation to hopefully have legislation happen in like 5 years, probably. At best.
Probably add a 1 to the front of that, and maybe. Just
yeah. All right. Would you like good news? I guess, depending on your interests.
Sure.
So announced at Anime Expo. I was like, where this was announced at something because I heard about this. Cyberpunk Edge Runners 2. So there will be a second season that is a standalone follow-up to Cyberpunk Edge Runners on Netflix. It is a new cast as far as I'm aware. It's a new story. It is after the events of Cyberpunk 2099 instead of the first season was before the events of Cyberpunk 2099. This might have maybe some ties to the new Cyberpunk game that they're working on. But yeah, as far as I know, everyone who loved that first season are happy to see a second season. So, hooray! I've heard the show is very good, but depressing. Do you have any thoughts?
No.
Fair enough. Last up, SGDQ final numbers. They ended up raising $2.436 million by the end of the night. I ended up falling asleep, so I did not see all of the Deltarune run, so I didn't see the final total.
Fair.
But it was all for Doctors Without Borders. I'm guessing they have the Mario Kart World run up embedded because the Deltarune run did not go up until like I think a couple hours ago. But yeah, a week of speed running and the like, all for Doctors Without Borders. I guess I can pull up that comparison graph I've been using like all week. See where we look at in terms of at least SGDQs. It is 2, 3, 4, fifth highest total for SGDQs. 2022 was 3 mil, or yeah, 2022 was 3 million. 2019 is a little less than that, but still 3 million. 21 was 2.8. 24 was 2.5, and then 25 was 2.4. Where does this put it overall? 11th highest out of all GDQ of main GDQs. Granted, I think AGDQs average higher than SGDQs.
I think.
The top two are AGDQs, and then it's 3 SGDQs, and then 1, 2, 3 AGDQs, an SGDQ, an AGDQ, and then this current SGDQ. So yes.
No, sounds about even then.
Yeah. It's like 3, 4, 3, 1, 3, 3, 2, 8, 2, 7, 2, 6, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 4 is how that progresses downwards. For reference, the highest is AGDQ 2022 at 3.4. And then AGDQ 20 is 3.1, and then it's SGDQ 22. So yeah, like, yeah, it's a little less than last year's, but it is still a respectable number, and I feel like kind of within their average.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that 2.5 range is honestly, I think, let me see. Let me turn off everything like pre-pandemic. And look at that. Yeah, about 2.5 is their average, I would say, just looking at the numbers, since it goes from 3.4 to 2.3. I feel like hitting like a 2.4, 2.5 range is like, I would say acceptable. Like higher than that is fantastic. Lower than that, I would be a little concerned and feel like maybe we underpacked the schedule. Maybe we, weren't doing incentives quite right. Like that's when I would start like, okay, where did we go wrong? Maybe. Also, for some reason, SGDQ 2023 has a really late spike in its donation total, and I do not know why. Like everyone else evens out at like 2 o'clock in the morning, but for some reason, SGDQ 2023 has this massive spike at like 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday.
That wouldn't have been one of the last ones with the Twitch subs, would it?
Would that account for about $200,000?
It could.
Okay. Because that's the spike. That's what the spike is. It's about $200,000.
It's one of those. It could.
Mm-hmm. I think that lines up with the other spikes, but the other spikes are like sooner than that. So I guess, did SGDQ 2023 like run super late?
I don't know. I thought last year's was what ran super late.
Mm-hmm.
But it might have also.
Those are also like stat totals, donations per minute. Let's see. There was a lot of donations per minute, like going into like the event recap into Deltarune. It was about $851 per minute. Let's see, they peaked at viewer totals. It is hard to tell because I can't seem to get it lined up, but it is 65,000 by the end.
You said it was SGDQ 23?
Yes.
You know there's an easy way to find out. Everything's uploaded.
Fair. I wasn't thinking about that. But yeah, there's good stuff all around at that. I guess you're looking it up and seeing.
Trying to, if YouTube would cooperate. YouTube's been a piece of crap at the moment, but
it has been
23 did go way late, and also I know exactly why. I was gonna say the only other thing that could possibly have spiked it that much would be a save versus kill the animals, and yeah, definitely.
Was the finale like Super Metroid?
Yep.
That makes sense. I feel like that, the Pokemon donations, a meme, basically, like if they run into a meme donation cycle, like those are your big, like those will spike your donations.
Oh yeah, that wasn't that one the one that I think that might have been one of the ones we had like a bad mess up kind of deal on one of the runs.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's no way they would have let that intentionally run that far behind. But I think I remember that one was going to run longer than normal before that happened too.
One run went catastrophically wrong.
Yeah, I think it was that one.
I would have to think like what would have went catastrophically wrong. Of course, the schedule does not have the estimates. It only has the final times.
Yeah, that's all they ever do with it.
Yeah.
Because it updates as it's going.
I was like, oh, maybe the estimate will be there. That'd be easy to find. Nope. Because otherwise, I would not be able to figure it out just looking at it. But yeah, I guess that, unless you have anything else.
Huh?
All right, that is it for the news. Releases. Yay. I guess we'll kick off on the 15th with Destiny 2, The Edge of Fate for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, and 5. New Destiny.
That no one cares about.
Yeah. One of the folks I follow was like playing Destiny 2 apparently for the first time in like years, like since launch years. And when I initially saw that they were playing Destiny 2, I'm like, oh god, please don't be hopping in Destiny 2 for the first time. Please don't. Please no. I do not want, I'm sorry, but I don't want people to be subjected to like the new light experience in Destiny 2 because it is, I think, still trash. They were going through the Witch Queen campaign, and I was like, I know we did this last year. I don't remember a damn thing from it. So I'm like, I don't know where to point you if you get lost, because I don't remember anything. Do you?
Nope.
Yeah. We've also got Dungeons & Dragons Neverwinter Nights 2 Enhanced Edition for Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and Switch. On the 16th, Neon Noodles for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. On the 17th, Be a Bee for Switch. Can You Hold It for MetaQuest. Donkey Kong Bonanza for Switch 2. Excuse me. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot Daima Adventures Through the Demon Realm Part 1 for Xbox One, Series X, PlayStation 4, 5, and Switch. Would you like to do the Daima stuff in Kakarot?
I love that they've just turned a DBC game into this is just Dragon Ball all the way.
I mean, that's what Xenoverse is. That is still getting content to this day. Because I think for some reason Bandai Namco are contractually obligated to make like a Dragon Ball game every year, or to do Dragon Ball stuff like every year. They cannot let this franchise be on rest, which is insane if you ask me. Like, we don't need to do the same things for Dragon Ball every goddamn year. I Am Mouse Adventure Simulator for MetaQuest. 2 Point Museum Fantasy Finds for Series X and PlayStation 5. RoboCop Rogue City Unfinished Business for Series X and PlayStation 5. On the 18th, Pineapple, A Bittersweet Revenge for Switch. Super Circus Atari for Atari 7800. Also, Tiger Heli 40th Anniversary Edition for Atari 7800. I was going to try to ignore it, but then I saw it. Shadow Labyrinth for Series X, PlayStation 5, Switch, and Switch 2. I hope this game flops. I am unreasonably angry at this game, and I hope it dies. That's the Pac-Man game. Or the not Pac-Man game. I don't know if you remember that. The grim, dark Metroidvania with Pac-Man.
Yeah.
That's based on, that has the tie-in episode and Lost Levels, which... Oh god, now that I think about it, did I put Lost Levels on the wheel of adaptation? I don't think I did. I have to go look. 1 second. I feel like I have to make a separate wheel when I do that, because then I'm like, all right, we're doing Lost Levels. Let's spin the wheel twice and see what episodes we're watching. Because none of the episodes matter to each other, so we might as well just pick 2 random ones. I did not. Good, that's something for me to do on the side. Anywho, on the 23rd, WWE 2K25 for Switch 2. And Peanuts, The Doctor Is In for board card. Also, And Roger for Switch. Just in Roger. On the 24th, Killing Floor 3 for Series X and PlayStation 5. Super Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV for Switch 2. And lastly, on the 25th, Shantae Advance Risky's Revolution Collector's Edition for Game Boy Advance. And No Sleep for Kaname Date from the AI Solomon Files for Switch and Switch 2. And that is a nice vertical slice of releases. You can see the full list in our notes in the description if you're watching on YouTube. So, anything else?
No.
All right. Thursday, I am doing CAD, and Tommy is doing Bonanza.
Yep.
I will probably host over to you, assuming you're still streaming when I'm done, because I don't know when you'll go live.
I don't either right offhand.
Fair enough. Friday, we'll do something, since we're taking a break from Cubage for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Saturday, we're also doing something. Since we wrapped up Braino Mania, and we don't have a Splatfest.
Yeah.
Next Sunday, we'll be continuing our run-through of Gaim with 4 more episodes. And then in 2 weeks, we will maybe be talking about a direct. We'll at least be talking about a Pokemon Presents. since the Pokemon Presents will be between now and then, because that's next Tuesday. Hooray! But anywho, if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Exclamation point YouTube and chat. You see the YouTube archive where this and all of our other streams eventually will go live. Right now, Rider Chronicle is going up. After that is a little bit of a comedy that I did, or actually no, it's Legends. My run through of RCS Legends, I think, will go up next. And then it's like Okami and then Breath of the Wild, I think. There might be something else in the middle there. But that's the current plan, is to have that all uploaded this week and then scheduled out. So I think by the end of July, all my stuff will be caught up to what's already on the YouTube in terms of what's uploaded, and then I start chipping away at 2023 stuff in full. But exclamation point social in chat gives you the handle for all of our social medias, and then exclamation point Discord in chat gives us a link. Drop by, say hi, and we'll see you Thursday, folks.